Mom calls me on Friday. Don't forget about tomorrow's family dinner. Cody loves shrimps, so you should buy more of those at the seafood market. In the Southern District, Lexi loves lamb chops. Go take a look in the Eastern District for them. Also, don't forget to buy the imported strawberries. Noah loves them a lot. I say yes to each and every request Mom makes. But as soon as I end the call, I receive a text on the family group chat. I've already given Eileen a list of our favorite foods. It's tough for you to earn money these days, so you shouldn't buy anything. 1 second later, that message is deleted. Still, I'm flabbergasted by what I just read. I've been married for 2 years. Every Saturday throughout those years, I'm the one paying and organizing the family dinner of the week. I thought there's no need to be so petty when it comes to family, but it seems that they've already viewed me as the outsider. A long time ago. In that case, I won't be attending the family dinner anymore. Nobody replied in the group chat. A moment later, a WhatsApp message from my mother, Paige Lawson, popped up. Forgot to mention your dad's craving nachos. I knew she was testing the waters. She wanted to see if I'd noticed her text in the group chat. My fingers flew across the screen, typing furiously. Why? I'm your biological daughter. Why am I suddenly an outsider? Just because I got married. Don't you guys love me anymore? But in the end, I deleted it all. I left only a brief reply. I have plans tomorrow. I won't be making it. The second the message went through,
My phone rang. It was Mom.
as soon as I answered, she launched into a tirade. What is wrong with you? Saturday family dinner is a tradition. How can you just not show up? I don't care what else you have going on. You need to be there. Unable to hold it in any longer, I snapped, Mom. I saw the message you sent. The line went dead silent for a second, but she recovered quickly. I just sent it by mistake. Besides, we're family. Is there really any need to be so petty? She said it so matter-of-factly that it made me look like the unreasonable one. I let out a bitter laugh. Have you ever actually treated me like family? You call it a family dinner, but I'm always the one running around, while everyone else just sits around, waiting to be served. I buy everything based on what everyone else likes. But has a single person ever asked what I want? I foolishly thought my words might spark a shred of remorse,
But Mom only doubled down.
Your dad and I raised you. You owe us. That's just how it works. Besides, once you're married, you just have to pave your way back home with a little cash.
A sharp ache pierced my chest.
That was it. All my efforts were just a baseline expectation for her. It never occurred to her that I had feelings too, or that she was actively breaking my heart. Before I could even speak, Mom continued, Anyway, I'm hanging up. Come back early tomorrow. With that, she ended the call. I walked back to my desk and booked an evening train ticket to Salvan. My coworker, Alice Hart, leaned over. Don't you have that family dinner on Saturday? You're not going? I nodded, yeah. Not this time. A look of suspicion crossed her face. And your mom is okay with that? I managed a bitter smile, but didn't answer. Sensing my mood, she quickly changed the subject. Well, I'm glad you finally came around. You and your husband barely see each other as it is. You should spend your weekends with him. As soon as work let out, I packed my things and rushed to the train station. When my husband, Hector Klein, saw me, his eyes lit up. What are you doing here? I missed you, I said quietly. He was always incredibly attuned to my shifts and mood. Concern instantly flooded his face. Hey, what's wrong? Did something happen? Hector continued asking. And wait, isn't your family dinner tomorrow? Why are you here today? That was all it took for my tears to start falling. Hector and I had been married for 2 years, and he had been nothing but patient and loving. Because of our jobs, we had a long-distance marriage, but he was the one who made the trip to see me every single weekend. Even when my family treated him like a ghost at those dinners, he never once complained. Lately his schedule had been brutal, yet he still carved out time for me. I couldn't bring myself to say a word. He seemed to sense what had happened and didn't push for answers. The next morning, Hector was up early. He had called out of work just to spend the day with me. He made breakfast, oatmeal, omelette, and waffles. They were everything I loved over all these years. He was the only one who actually remembered my likes. He was the only one who made me feel like I didn't have to lift a finger. Right on cue, Mom's name flashed across my phone screen. I ignored it. I already knew what she was going to say. Hector glanced at the vibrating phone. Are you not going to answer? I shook my head no. But ignoring her phone call only made the family group chat blow up. First came Mom's text. Eileen, where are you? Look at the time. Your brother and sister-in-law are already here. We're just waiting on you. Did you get the shrimp and the lamb chops? Your dad is waiting on those nachos to go with his drinks. Then came a text from my brother. Cody, Ellen. Eileen, how close are you? Hurry it up. Don't forget the strawberries. Noah is throwing a fit for them. Finally, my sister-in-law, Lexi Duncan messaged Eileen. It sounds like you have a massive haul to bring over this time.
Take your time.
None of them cared if I was okay or if something had happened to me. The only things that mattered to them were the groceries I was buying and the free labor I was providing. That was my so-called family. With a bitter laugh, I typed back into the chat. I told you I'm not coming. The group chat went dead silent for about 3 seconds. Then it absolutely erupted. Mom was the first to strike, firing off a full 60-second voice note. I couldn't bring myself to listen to her voice. So I hit text convert. The screen filled with an avalanche of exclamation points. You're not coming. If you weren't coming, you should have said so earlier. Cody and Lexi are here and Noah is crying from hunger because he's waiting for those strawberries. Now you say you're not coming. What are we supposed to eat? Cody immediately followed up. What's your problem, Eileen? The whole family is waiting on you. How could you throw a fit like this? Mom and Dad are getting old. You're really going to make them sit around starving? Lexi put on her usual passive-aggressive act. Eileen, did I do something to upset you? If you have an issue with me, just say it. Don't take it out on the family dinner. Watching them play off each other like a well-rehearsed theater troupe, I actually laughed. I didn't reply, but that didn't stop them. Mom sent another text. Your dad's blood pressure is going through the roof. Get over here right now. Don't make me come to your apartment to drag you back. Cody lost his temper. Next, now that you're married, you think you're too good for us. We wasted all those years raising you for nothing. Lexi kept playing the peacemaker. Oh, forget it. She belongs to another family now. We don't have the status to grace her presence anymore. Finally came a text from my father.
Samuel Allen.
He almost never posted in the group chat, but this time he chimed in with a single line. If you don't come back today, don't ever bother coming back. I watched the notifications pop up one by one, each message twisting like a knife in my chest. I finally turned the phone face down on the table and chose silence. Hector slid a bowl of oatmeal in front of me. Eat first. During those 2 days with Hector, I completely cut myself off from my family. On Saturday afternoon, he drove me out to a hot spring resort in the countryside. As we soaked in the steaming water, I asked him, "Do you know what I like to eat?" Without hesitation, Hector blurted out, "You like your oatmeal simple, without any extras? When we barbecue, you love drumsticks and shrimp, but I always have to grill the shrimp for you, or you overcook them. You love fruit, but only if it's already sliced. And you crave anything with a kick of spice." I was stunned. He remembered every single detail. I looked at him and asked, "How do you even remember all that?" Smiling, Hector reached out to pull me into his arms. "Silly, because you're my wife and I care about you." So this was what it felt like to actually matter to someone. The contrast only served to highlight just how deeply my family neglected me. To them, I was just a daughter who had married out, an outsider. By Sunday evening, I was heading back. Hector's parting words still echoed in my ears. "Don't carry it all on your own. I'm right here." As I approached my apartment building, I spotted 3 figures crouching near my door from a distance. Mom was the first to notice me. She snapped up, storming over to face me in a matter of seconds. "So, you finally decided to come back?" Dad rose to his feet behind her, hands clasped behind his back. His expression was grim. Cody stood at the very back, a lit cigarette dangling from his fingers. The look he gave me was full of disdain, as if he were staring at a bratty child. I tightened my grip on my purse strap. "Mom, what are you all doing here?" Her voice pitched high and sharp, echoing through the narrow hallway. "You didn't answer your phone and ignored our texts. What choice did I have? It's been 2 days. Do you have any idea what chaos you've caused at home?" Your dad's blood pressure spiked to 180. Noah cried for 2 days straight because he couldn't get his strawberries. And Lexi got so fed up that she went back to her parents' place. As she hurled one accusation after another at me, I actually smiled. "So it's all my fault?" My smile threw her off for a split second, which only fueled her rage. "Do you have the nerve to smile? The whole family waited on you during Saturday dinner, yet you ran off to be with your husband. Do you even care about this family anymore?" I looked at her, suddenly feeling like I was staring at a total stranger. This was my mother, the woman who gave me life and raised me. Yet here, she stood spitting nothing but blame, without a single word of concern for how I was doing. Dad let out a cold snort from the back. Once a daughter marries, she's gone for good. Now that she can stand on her own 2 feet, she thinks she doesn't have to come home anymore. Cody tossed his cigarette butt onto the floor and crushed it beneath his shoe. "All right, stop wasting your breath on her. Eileen, you're coming back with us right now. Apologize to Mom and Dad, and then you're going to go get Lexi. I took a step back. I'm not going. The air froze for a second. Mom's face turned a violent shade of red. You've completely lost your mind. Cody took 2 large strides toward me and grabbed my arm. You're coming back today whether you like it or not. His grip was brutal, sending a sharp burst of pain through my arm. Like, go of me. I wrenched my arm violently, but I couldn't break free. Cody let go. Instead of releasing me, he tightened his grip, dragging me toward the stairwell. Panicking, I used my free hand to claw his fingers. He winced in pain and fiercely shoved me away. I stumbled back a few steps, crashing hard against the wall. Before I could even find my footing, Cody suddenly spun around and slapped me across the face. The sharp ringing crack echoed down the hallway. I froze, entirely numb. My face burned with a stinging heat, and my ears rang in the silence. Mom blinked in surprise, but she didn't step in. Instead, she muttered, "Good, you brought that on yourself. You never listen until you're forced to." Without a word, Dad kept his hands behind his back, his face a mask of cold indifference, touching my cheek. I slowly forced myself to stand up straight. I looked at the 3 people standing in front of me. My father, my mother, and my brother. I pulled out my phone and dialed 3 digits. Mom was quick to notice. "What are you doing? Calling the police?" Paige Lawson's voice pitched to an octave that vibrated uncomfortably in the narrow, concrete hallway. She took a step forward, her hand outstretched as if she could claw the phone right out of my hand. My thumb pressed down on the call button. The screen flashed, dialing 911.
I
Held the phone to my ear, my eyes locked onto my mother's. There was no warmth left in my gaze, only the cold, hard realization of what these people truly were.
To me.
Eileen, hang up that phone right now. Samuel Allen, my father, finally broke his silent stance. He stepped forward, his face darkening with authority he no longer possessed over me. "Have you lost your mind? Calling the cops on your own family? Do you want to ruin your brother's future? My future?" Cody sneered, though a flicker of panic crossed his eyes. He tried to grab my wrist again to snatch the phone, but I took a sharp step back, my spine pressing against the cold apartment door. "Yes, hello," I said, my voice remarkably steady despite the frantic beating of my heart. "I need police assistance at 412 Maple Street, apartment 4B. I've just been physically assaulted by my brother, and my parents are refusing to let me enter my home." "Eileen," Paige shrieked. She lunged at me, her fingernails scraping against my
arm.
"They are still here and attempting to assault me again." I continued to the operator, keeping my voice clear and loud. My brother slapped me across the
Face.
"There are witnesses in the building. Please hurry." "Ma'am, stay on the line. Officers are being dispatched to your location." The operator's calm voice crackled through the speaker. Cody looked at my mother, then at my father. The tough guy facade was cracking. He had a corporate job at a logistics firm, a job he had only landed because of a recommendation letter my husband, Hector, had pulled strings to get him.
A
Domestic violence arrest would destroy his record. "You crazy bitch," Cody spat, backing away toward the stairwell. "You're really going to do this over a stupid family dinner? Over some damn strawberries and shrimp." "It was never about the dinner, Cody," I said, my cheek burning, swelling rapidly where his heavy hand had struck me. "It was about the fact that you all treat me like an ATM and a servant. And now, you've put your hands on me." "Let's go, Samuel," Paige muttered, her voice trembling with a mix of fury and fear as she heard the distant, faint wail of a siren in the evening air.
She's
"Ungrateful. She's dead to us anyway. Let the police come. Let's see how she explains this to the rest of the family." "No one is going anywhere," a raspy voice called out from down the hall. We all turned. Mr. Henderson, the retired teacher who lived in 4C, had opened
his door.
He was holding a baseball bat in one hand and his phone in the other, recording the entire hallway. "I heard the slap and I got the whole thing on my security camera, Mr. Henderson said, pointing a finger at Cody. "You don't run off after hitting a woman in this building. I've already called security downstairs. The gates are locked." Cody's face drained of color. He looked at Samuel, but my father simply turned his head away, unable to look at the mess his golden child had created. Within 4 minutes, 2 police officers emerged from the elevator. The narrow hallway suddenly felt suffocatingly small, filled with the harsh blue and red light reflecting through the stairwell window. "What's going on here?" The older officer, a burly man named Officer Davis, asked, his hand resting casually near his holster. Officer, thank goodness you're here. Paige immediately burst into tears, her transformation into a grieving, victimized mother instantaneous. My daughter has been having a mental breakdown. We came here out of concern because she hasn't been answering her phone for 2 days. She started screaming at us, and when her brother tried to calm her down, she fell against the wall and started accusing him of hitting her. I almost laughed at the sheer audacity of her lie. For 26 years, I had watched her pull this exact act, manipulating facts, playing the victim, and shifting the blame until the other person felt so guilty they apologized for things they didn't even do. But this time, I wasn't going to let the guilt consume me. That's not what happened, officer, I said calmly. I pointed to the side of my
Face.
The skin was already puffing up, turning a deep, ugly shade of purple red. My brother, Cody Allen, dragged me by my arm toward the stairs. When I resisted, he shoved me against the wall and slapped me. My neighbor, Mr. Henderson, witnessed the aftermath and has hallway camera footage. Mr. Henderson stepped forward, raising his phone. I didn't see the slap itself, but I heard the crack from inside my apartment and my door cam caught the young man grabbing her, dragging her, and then fleeing down the hall after the sound of the strike. I have it all recorded. Officer Davis nodded to his partner, a younger female officer. Go check the camera footage with the tenant in 4C. He then turned his gaze to Cody. Sir, step over here. Hands behind your back.
Dad. Mom.
Do something. Cody yelled, his voice cracking as the reality of handcuffs sank in. I didn't mean to. She clawed my hand first. Because you were kidnapping me. I yelled back, the tears finally spilling over, not from sadness, but from pure, unadulterated anger. You were trying to drag me down the stairs because I wouldn't go to your house to buy you groceries. Eileen, please. Paige pleaded, her voice dropping its frantic tone, replaced by a desperate whisper. Think about your brother's career. He has a wife and a
Son.
If he gets a record, he'll lose his job. How will they pay their mortgage? Are you really this heartless? Where was your concern for my career when he struck me? I asked, looking her dead in the eye. Where was your concern for my safety? You stood there and told me I brought it on myself. The female officer returned, nodding to Officer Davis. The footage clearly shows the male suspect grabbing the victim's arm, dragging her against her will, and then striking her across the face. The assault is fully captured. All right, Officer Davis said, clicking the handcuffs around Cody's wrists. Cody Allen, you're under arrest for domestic battery. Eileen, I will never forgive you for this. Paige screamed as Cody was led down the hallway, his boots dragging against the floor. You are no daughter of mine. You're a monster. A cold-blooded monster. Samuel didn't say a word. He gave me one last, venomous look before following the officers down the hall, his arm wrapped around a hysterical Paige. When the hallway finally cleared, Mr. Henderson walked over, placing a gentle hand on my shoulder. Are you all right, kiddo? I think so, I whispered, my voice trembling. Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Don't mention it. You've tolerated their noise and demands for too long.
Eva.
Heard them screaming at you on your balcony before. You did the right thing. I nodded, walked into my apartment, and locked the door with 3 deadbolts. The silence of my empty home washed over me, heavy and suffocating. I slid down against the door, pulled my knees to my chest, and let the tears flow. After crying until my throat was raw, I wiped my face and looked at my reflection in the bathroom mirror. The left side of my face was swollen, a stark, physical manifestation of the boundary I had finally drawn. I picked up my phone. It was 8:30 p.m. I clicked on Hector's contact. He answered on the first ring. Eileen, are you home yet? I tried calling you 20 minutes ago, but it went straight to voicemail. Hector. My voice broke, a ragged sob slipping through. The line went quiet for half a second before Hector's tone changed completely, shifting from casual warmth to intense, protective panic. Eileen, what's wrong? Are you hurt? Cody, he came to my apartment with my parents. He hit me, Hector.
He slapped me.
He what? I could hear the sudden scraping of a chair and the sound of keys jangling on Hector's end. Where are they? Are they still there? Did you call the police? His voice was deep, laced with a dangerous edge I had never heard from him before. Hector was always the gentle giant, the man who laughed off my family's snide remarks and calmly held my hand through their passive-aggressive dinners. Hearing him this, angry sent a shiver down my spine. The police came. Cody's been arrested. They're gone now, I snuffled, wiping my nose with a tissue. But I'm scared, Hector. I'm so tired. I'm driving back right now, he said. But it's a 4-hour drive, and you have to work tomorrow morning. I don't care about work, Eileen, Hector interrupted, his voice firm and leaving no room for argument. I am not leaving you alone tonight. I'm putting my bags in the car right now. Keep the doors locked. Don't answer for anyone. I'll be there by midnight. Okay, I whispered. I love you. I love you too. Hang tai, sweetheart. After hanging up, I sat at my kitchen island. The physical pain in my cheek was beginning to dull into a throbbing ache, but my mind was sharper than it had been in years. The fog of familial obligation had completely cleared. I pulled out my laptop and logged into my bank accounts. For the past 2 years, I had been the silent financial engine of the Allen Lawson family, because I had a high-paying job as a senior project manager at an international firm, and because Hector made an excellent living as an architectural engineer, my parents had slowly and systematically shifted their financial burdens onto me. It started small. Eileen, can you cover the electricity bill this month? Your father's pension is delayed. Then it grew. Eileen, Cody needs a down payment for his new car, so he can drive Noah to preschool. You can afford it, right? You don't even have kids yet. And finally, the biggest drain, the apartment my parents lived in. I was the primary leaseholder, and I paid 70% of their monthly rent under the guise of helping them live comfortably in their golden years. I opened my bank app and looked at the recurring transfers. Monthly rent transfer to landlord, parents' apartment $1,800. Supplementary credit card, authorized user, Paige Lawson, average of $600 per month. Cody's car loan autopay, $350 per month. I looked at the transactions on my mother's supplementary card from just the
Past week.
Seafood Market, Southern District, $140. Organic Grocers, Eastern District, $95.
La Mère Beauty Boutique, $180.
My blood ran cold. The seafood and organic grocers. She had used my credit card to buy the very groceries she was demanding I bring to the dinner. She had used my money to buy Cody's shrimp and Noah's strawberries, and then expected me to spend my Saturday afternoon driving around to fetch them, all while sending a text to Cody saying I shouldn't eat anything because it's tough for them to earn money. The hypocrisy was staggering. They weren't just exploiting my labor, they were actively stealing my money to fund their lifestyle while treating me like an unwanted parasite. I felt a cold smile spread across my face. I clicked on the credit card management portal. I selected Paige Lawson's authorized user card. Option: deactivate card. Are you sure you want to permanently deactivate this card?
Click yes.
Next, I opened my automatic transfer settings. I canceled the $350 monthly autopay for Cody's car loan. Let him explain to the bank why his payment was
Late.
Finally, I drafted an email to my parents' landlord, Mr. Vance. Dear Mr. Vance, I am writing to inform you that I will not be renewing the lease for Unit 12B at the end of next month. As the primary tenant and guarantor, I am giving my formal 30-day notice. Please contact Samuel Allen and Paige Lawson regarding their options to sign a new lease under their own names or vacate the premises by the end of next month. I will no longer be responsible for any rent payments after this period. Sincerely, Eileen Allen. I pressed send. The weight that lifted off my chest was physical. It felt as if a heavy, wet wool blanket had been stripped from my shoulders. For 2 years, I had worked overtime, skipped vacations with Hector, and stressed over budgets, all to keep a roof over the heads of people who didn't even care if I ate at their table. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Lexi Duncan, my sister-in-law. Lexi, Eileen, what the hell did you do? Cody just called me from jail.
He said.
You set him up. Are you insane? Do you want to ruin our family? Call the police. And drop the charges right now. I stared at the screen. I didn't reply. Instead, I blocked her number. A minute later, a text from my father. Samuel, if you don't bail your brother out tonight, I will make sure everyone in our extended family knows what kind of ungrateful daughter you are. You will be dead to this family. I blocked his number too. Then came my mother. She couldn't call because I had blocked her, but she tried. Sending an email. Subject: Ungrateful brat Eileen. How dare you lock Cody up? He is your brother. He was only trying to bring you home because we love you and wanted you at the table. So what if he got a little rough? That's what brothers do.
You have
Always been so sensitive. If you don't drop the charges and pay the bail, I will come to your office and make a scene. I will let your boss know what kind of person you really are. I printed the email out. I added it to a folder labeled Evidence. Go ahead, Mom, I whispered to the empty room. Come to my office. Let's see how my corporate legal team handles harassment. At exactly 11:45 p.m., the sound of a key turning in my lock broke the silence. I jumped up from the couch. The door swung open, and Hector stepped in.
He
Looked exhausted, his hair windblown, his coat half unbuttoned. But the moment his eyes landed on me, his face softened into pure, unadulterated concern. Then, his eyes drifted to the left side of my face. I saw the muscles in his jaw clench, so hard a vein throbbed near his temple. His hands fisted at his sides. He took 3 long strides across the room and pulled me gently into his arms, careful not to touch my bruised cheek. Eileen, he breathed, his voice thick with emotion. My God, Eileen. I buried my face in his chest, inhaling the familiar, comforting scent of cedarwood and rain. The last remnants of my strength dissolved, and I let myself cry freely, knowing I was finally safe.
I'm sorry, he sobbed.
I'm so sorry I made you drive all this way. Don't you dare apologize, Hector said, his voice low and fierce. He led me to the couch, sitting close and wrapping his arm around my waist, pulling me into his side. Tell me exactly what happened. From the very beginning. I told him everything. I told him about the deleted group chat message, the phone calls, my decision to skip the dinner, the confrontation in the hallway, Cody dragging me, and the slap. I told him about Mr. Henderson's camera footage and Cody's arrest. As I spoke, Hector's expression grew progressively darker. He didn't interrupt me once. He just listened, his hand gently stroking my hair, absorbing my pain. And then, I finished wiping my eyes. I canceled all of it. I deactivated my mother's credit card, stopped paying Cody's car loan, and gave the landlord 30 days notice on their apartment. Hector looked at me, a slow, proud smile breaking through his anger. You did that? Yes. I am so incredibly proud of you, Hector said, kissing the top of my head.
You
have carried the weight of that entire family for years, Eileen. You've let them walk all over you because you thought that's what a good daughter does.
But they
are not a family. They are parasites. What about Cody? I asked quietly. My mother threatened to come to my office and make a scene if I don't drop the charges and pay his bail. Let her try, Hector sneered, his eyes flashing with a dangerous light. Already contacted my company's legal counsel on the drive over. One of our senior partners, Marcus Vance, is a criminal defense and civil litigation expert. He's going to represent you pro bono. We're going to press full charges against Cody. And if your mother steps 1 foot near your office, we will hit her with an immediate restraining order and sue her for harassment. He cupped my uninjured cheek, his thumb gently wiping away a stray tear. Eileen, you are my wife. I have watched you bleed yourself dry for people who wouldn't even offer you a cup of water. It stops tonight. I'm taking a week off work. We are packing up this apartment, and you're coming back to Solvin with me. But my job? You can work remotely, or you can transfer to the Solvin branch. Your company has a massive office there, Hector said. But even if you want to quit and take some time off, we can afford it. I want you away from this city. I want you away from them. Looking into his eyes, I realized I didn't want to fight anymore. I didn't want to prove my worth to a family that would never see it. I wanted peace. I wanted to be with the one person who actually loved me for who I was, not what I could provide. Okay, I whispered. Let's go to Solvin. The next morning, the storm broke. At 7 a.m., my phone began vibrating continuously on the nightstand. I had blocked my parents and Lexi, but now the calls were coming from unknown numbers, extended family members, and even my mother's friends. Hector reached over, grabbed the phone, and turned it completely off. Eat your breakfast, he said, placing a plate of freshly made French toast and sliced strawberries in front of me. Let the lawyers handle the rest. By 10 a.m., we were at the police station. Marcus Vance, the lawyer Hector had hired, met us in the lobby. He was a sharp, impeccably dressed man in his late 40s with a calm, commanding presence. Mrs. Klein, it's a pleasure to meet you under better circumstances, Marcus said, shaking my hand. I've already reviewed the police report and the hallway camera footage Mr. Henderson provided. It's an open and shut case. Your brother's defense attorney has already reached out, asking for a plea deal or a withdrawal of charges. I told him absolutely not. What happens next? I asked. Cody will be arraigned this afternoon. Since he has no prior criminal record, he will likely be released on bail, but he'll have a strict no-contact order placed on him. If he or anyone acting on his behalf, including your parents, attempts to contact you, they will be violating the bail conditions. And he will go straight back to jail. And my parents' apartment? The landlord has already received your notice. Marcus smiled thinly.
He was
Actually quite relieved. Apparently, your parents have been a nuisance to the neighbors for months, and he was only keeping them because your credit and payments were impeccable. He's already informed them that they must vacate the premises in 30 days unless they can prove an income of 3 times the rent, which we know they cannot. Just as Marcus finished speaking, the glass doors of the police station slid open. Paige Lawson and Samuel Allen walked in, flanked by Lexi. Paige looked disheveled, her hair unbrushed, her eyes red and puffy. The moment she spotted me sitting in the lobby, her face contorted with rage. "Eileen," she screamed, rushing toward me. "You heartless miserable." Before she could reach me, Hector stood up. His 6'2" frame blocked her path entirely, casting a long, intimidating shadow over her. "Get out of my way, Hector," Paige snarled. "This is between me and my daughter." "There is no between you and your daughter anymore, Paige," Hector said, his voice dangerously low, vibrating with a quiet fury that made even Samuel take a
step back.
"If you take one more step toward my wife, I will personally ensure the officers in this station arrest you for harassment. You outsider," Paige hissed, her voice shaking. "You've poisoned her
Mind.
She was a good, obedient girl before she married you. You're the one who made her like this." "No, Paige," I said, standing up from behind Hector, looking at her with a calm that surprised even myself. "Hector didn't make me like this. You did. You showed me that my only value to you was the money I brought in and the chores I did. The moment I stopped paying, you showed your true colors." "Eileen, please," Lexi chimed in, her voice dripping with fake desperation.
She
Tried to bypass Hector, but Marcus Vance stepped in, flashing his legal credentials. "Mrs. Duncan, I am Marcus Vance, Mrs. Klein's legal counsel," Marcus said, his voice smooth and cold as ice. "I advise you and your parents to step back immediately. Any further attempts to contact, intimidate, or harass my client will be documented and used to secure a permanent restraining order. Furthermore, your husband's bail conditions will include a strict no-contact
clause.
If any of you contact Eileen, Cody goes back to a holding cell." Lexi froze. "A restraining order? We're family." "You ceased being family the moment your husband put his hands on my wife," Hector said. "Now get out of our sight." Samuel looked at me, his eyes finally showing a flicker of defeat. "Eileen, the landlord called us. He said the lease is terminated. We don't have the money to move. We don't have the money to pay for a new place. And Cody might lose his job. How are we supposed to live?" I looked at my father. For years, I had craved his approval, waiting for a single word of praise or pride. But looking at him now, all I saw was a weak, selfish man who was only worried about his own comfort. "You'll have to figure that out yourselves," I said quietly, just like I had to figure out how to survive in this family for 26 years. With that, Hector wrapped his arm around my shoulders and we walked out of the station, leaving them standing in the lobby, the reality of their self-inflicted ruin finally crashing down on them. 3 weeks passed. Hector and I had spent the time packing up my apartment. It was a therapeutic process, throwing away old relics of a life lived in servitude to others. With the help of my company's HR department, my transfer to the Solvin branch had been approved seamlessly. I was to start my new role as a regional director, there in a month with a significant salary increase. Meanwhile, from the safety of my blocked notifications, the fallout of my family's actions was playing out like a slow-motion train wreck. Because I was no longer paying Cody's car loan, his car was repossessed by the bank within 3 weeks. Without a vehicle, and with his pending domestic violence charge looming over his head, his employer conducted a background check and promptly terminated his contract. Lexi, true to her materialistic nature, refused to live with a man who had no job, no car, and a criminal record. She packed her bags, took Noah, and moved back to her parents' house permanently, filing for legal separation. My parents were in no better shape. Without my credit card to fund Paige's shopping sprees and organic grocery hauls, and without my 70% rent contribution, they were forced to face the reality of their financial situation. They tried to apply for a smaller apartment, but because of Samuel's poor credit score and their lack of a guarantor, no landlord would accept them. One evening, as Hector and I were taping up the last few boxes in my apartment, Alice Hart, my coworker, called me. "Eileen, are you okay?" Alice asked, her voice filled with concern.
Your
"Mother, she's downstairs in the lobby of our office building. She's demanding to see you. She's causing a massive scene, crying and screaming that you've abandoned your elderly parents and left them homeless." I sighed, rubbing my temples. "Is security handling it?" "Yes, the building manager called the police. But she's refusing to leave.
She's
telling everyone who walks by that you're a heartless monster." "Thanks for letting me know, Alice. I'll handle it." I hung up and looked at Hector. She actually did it. She went in my office. Hector's eyes narrowed. He picked up his phone and dialed Marcus Vance. "Marcus, it's Hector. Paige Lawson is currently harassing Eileen at her workplace.
It's
time to file the emergency injunction." "On it," Marcus replied immediately. "I'll have the police dispatched to the office building with the restraining order paperwork. I'll meet you there." By the time Hector, Marcus, and I arrived at the corporate office building, a crowd had gathered near the entrance. Paige Lawson was sitting on the concrete steps, her clothes disheveled, weeping dramatically for the onlookers. Samuel was standing next to her, looking embarrassed but refusing to stop her. "She has millions," Paige wailed to a group of confused interns standing nearby. "She married a rich man and left her poor, aging parents to starve. She locked her own brother in jail. She's a monster." Paige Lawson, a stern voice cut through her dramatic performance. Two police officers stepped out of a patrol car, followed closely by Marcus Vance, who was holding a stack of legal documents. Paige looked up, her eyes lighting up when she saw me. She scrambled to her feet, pointing an accusing finger. "There she is. Eileen, look what you've done to us. We're being evicted. Cody is ruined. Are you happy now, Mrs. Lawson?" Officer Davis, who had responded to the call, stepped between Paige and me. "You are currently violating a civil harassment warning. Furthermore, I have an emergency restraining order signed by a judge here." Marcus stepped forward, handing the papers to Samuel. "Mr. Allen, this is a formal restraining order against you, your wife, and your son, Cody. You are legally required to maintain a distance of at least 500 feet from Eileen Klein, her residence, and her workplace. If either of you speaks to her, approaches her, or harasses her colleagues again, you'll be arrested on the spot." "A restraining order?" Samuel's voice cracked. He looked at the paperwork, then at me. "Eileen, please. We're your parents. We raised you. We gave you everything." "You gave me nothing but debt and guilt, Dad," I said, stepping forward, my voice clear and devoid of any anger. "You watched Cody drag me and hit me, and you didn't lift a finger. You let Mom use my hard-earned money to buy groceries for everyone else while telling them I shouldn't eat. You never loved me. You loved what I could do for you." "That's not true," Paige screamed, her face twisting into a mask of pure desperation. "We did love you. We brought you into this world. And I am officially leaving your world," I replied. "From this day forward, I have no parents. I have no brother. I am Eileen Klein, and my family is the man standing next to me." I turned my back on them. "Eileen, no. You can't do this to us. Eileen." Paige's screams echoed behind me, but they were cut short as the officers grabbed her arms, warning her that she would be arrested for disturbing the peace if she didn't leave immediately. I didn't look back. I walked through the glass doors of the office building, Hector's hand firmly clasped in mine. A month later, the air in Solvin was crisp and sweet, carrying the scent of pine and fresh earth from the nearby mountains. Our new home was a beautiful, two-story house with a wraparound porch and a large garden. It was quiet, peaceful, and entirely ours. On a sunny Saturday afternoon, I was sitting on the porch swing, a cup of warm tea in my hands, watching Hector work in the garden. He was wearing a flannel shirt, his sleeves rolled up, planting rose bushes near the fence. My phone buzzed on the table. For a split second, my chest tightened, a lingering reflex from years of trauma. But when I picked up the phone, I smiled. It was a notification from my bank. My monthly savings had increased by over $3,000 and my credit score was a perfect Shining number. There were no texts demanding shrimp, no voicemails accusing me of selfishness, and no group chats discussing my exclusion. Hector wiped his brow, looked up at the porch, and smiled. He walked over, wiping his dirty hands on a rag, and sat down on the swing next to me, wrapping his arm around my shoulders. "What are you thinking about?" he asked, pressing a soft kiss to my temple. "I was just thinking about how much I love Saturdays," I said, leaning my head against his shoulder. "Me too," Hector whispered, pulling me closer. "What do you want for dinner tonight, sweetheart? I can grill those drumsticks you like." "That sounds perfect," I said. In the quiet warmth of the Solvent afternoon, surrounded by the gentle rustle of the wind and the unconditional love of the man next to me, I realized that I hadn't lost my family. I had finally found it.